Okay, so let's do it as I said, because really we could be getting the same maps all around. There's no point in prolonging this. Okay, so one Blue Lagoon, two is Frozen Wastes, three Midgard, Savannah, Watering Hole. Alright. So let me check if I have everything. Blue Lagoon, Frozen Wastes, Midgard, Savannah, and Watering Hole. Okay, so these are the 5 maps, and we need one of them. So there we are. This is gonna be the number generator that we are in. This is, let's just basically start it over. You're gonna be having 5, 1, 5, and generate, and we're having a 5. Okay, so we get in a 5. Just gonna be right now making sure that it actually works. So it's gonna be map number 5. So that means Watering Hole. But I just right now checking it works properly. It's gonna be given random numbers. Yeah, it's freaking fine. So it's number 5. So here we go. The decider is gonna be playing on Watering Hole between Isis and Thor. It's gonna be a bit of a luck for Joe, but at the same time it has to be said, it's not really that much of a luck because he needs to faster heroic and everything. And Thor is gonna be quite a valid god here. Quite a valid god all around. So definitely curious how he's gonna be approaching it and how Joe is gonna be approaching it as well. If this time it's gonna be proper fast heroic at about 715 as it should be, because of course that's exactly what you would be aiming for on a high hunt map like here. And what's gonna be happening from Shadowfax? It might be really all kinds of different things. I do remember Shadowfax playing the Norse before, and he was quite good. And I think he even has beaten an Egyptian on Watering Hole. I seem to distinctly remember such a game. So it was definitely possible. It's definitely possible that he might be having quite a good experience with that, as he's just now discovering the elephants on the right side, together with a large gold mine as well. And that is gonna be resulting, of course, in the Ulfsart being also coming a bit more to the forward. And I'm kind of liking this swath of water in there, because it could be tactically important a bit later. Tactically important a bit later, as we are gonna be maybe looking at some kind of docks, but that's still quite far away from here. And I'm definitely curious if this is actually gonna be connected to this part of the water. Because if so, then it might be even more important. But yeah, well, right now it's just a speculation. So let's wait how that is gonna be played out. Let's check into Shadowfax, who is not gonna be using autocue at all, because he's not. But Joe is gonna be apparently vetoing because he doesn't see gold, or... Oh no, he was gonna call the veto because he didn't see the gold yet, but out of nowhere there's a gold in the corner of the map with a relic. For cheaper siege weapon costs nonetheless for an Egyptian. Alright, there we go. There we go. He was going to call the veto because he doesn't have gold and just had to change his mind in the end. And this is gonna be quite a nice protection because apparently this water is gonna be all around here, and that is really quite helpful because it's gonna be resulting into good trade route to this DC all the way from the top side. But at the same time it might be getting a bit tricky because they are gonna be walking quite close to potentially wall in here, maybe even some kind of battlefield. So it's kind of double-edged sword, but still could be working. In the meantime, his standard gold at the starting position is kind of not bad. Could be slightly better because the only one tower and it's kind of in the forward position. But if he can actually wall here, which he probably will be able to, then he should be reasonably fine. As I do expect that this water is gonna be coming all the way to the map, to the side of the map. Can we actually see it here? I think that this is actually a bit below. There is a depression. Yeah, there is definitely a depression here, which means that the water is gonna be ending about there into the map. At least I think. So let's see how it's gonna be working. If it's really gonna be that way or not. Hard map to beat Thor on, but it's gonna be interesting to definitely on vanilla. On Titans you will be favoring the Egyptian definitely. On vanilla it's a bit different. And definitely there are chances for Thor, especially since Thor is really strong on vanilla, and against an Egyptian it doesn't really make all that much of a difference for him. So yeah, definitely expecting that this might be quite a nice game for us. Don't use your will to ally. Yeah, just making sure that he actually helps his teammate, but he didn't. He's gonna be still very much alive, and the elephants are gonna be quite helpful. But as we said at the start, that maybe this could be connected to this water, it actually isn't in the end. So this water is gonna be coming to the bottom, but he will have to be careful about putting a wall there, because that is otherwise gonna be a definite access to the economy of the blue player. So the map is really kind of funny. And I'm thinking that maybe he really could have actually vetoed it. Because if you look at this, he's really having only that one goal. It might be enough. It really might be enough, but also not. Because overall how it is spawned. Yeah, asking for veto right now because he's realizing that the gold is really sucky. He really doesn't have any extra. Only the one at the bottom, which might be at least some kind of saving. At least a bit. But considering the front TC that is... Well, that's a question. It could be either here, or this is Joe's front TC, and there's gonna be a TC in this. I would be guessing the latter. Slightly guessing the latter. And in that case, even if he takes the TC in the middle, he doesn't have control of the gold mines in the middle. It's really gonna be a hard game for Joe. Really a hard game indeed. Even though he does have the gold at the very back, right now gonna be losing one of the villages, because he was apparently, or rather she was under attack from the crocodile, so a bit of a help in there as well. Yeah, this hunt is definitely not helpful. All kinds of aggressive animals in there, both lions, the crocodile, right now even some usaks. This is gonna be maybe heading into quite a veritable disaster for Joe, because he will be forced off the hunt quite early. He doesn't have all that many piggies naturally, and he doesn't seem to be having any kind of extra hunt. Well, he does have at least the hippo. He does have a lot of zebras at the top side, but it's quite far away. So of course it's gonna be resulting in a lot of idle time, but losing these elephants without basically managing to wall up in time, that is gonna be definitely costly and quite a big problem for him. So right now the faster heroic is definitely in danger, in quite solid danger in here, as Joe is just not really even in the next age yet. He's gonna be advancing at about 6 minutes, and of course this is gonna be a heyday for Shadowfax, and he's definitely using the opportunity at maximum, at quite solid maximum in here. Alright, so Shadowfax even gathering in the middle from the hunt, because why not? It's not gonna be under attack at all. And this is exactly gonna be the problem for the gold, because he does have the tower in there, and he definitely didn't expect that he should be walling also somewhere at this point. So bust in, he's gonna be getting the relic for cheaper siege weapons that was right next to his back of the base in here. But otherwise, I don't really see the secondary relic yet. It's probably gonna be hidden somewhere at the bottom here. But yeah, well, it's not like it matters a whole lot at this point. Okay, so a bit of scouting by Joe in the middle, but that was just made a bit earlier. And right now the priest is dead or alive? I cannot think he's actually maybe dead, because I don't see him anywhere, so he's probably dead. Yeah, well, that's quite an unfortunate loss, of course. As Harmonia's necklace, oh, that's where the second relic is already in Shadowfax's power, and that's a very good one. For gold gatherate, that's gonna be helping him. Would be definitely horrible if his opponent was having something like that. But I'm definitely expecting that this game is already very hard for Joe, and even though he might be still getting into the heroic age, he's gonna be walled off from the food and from the potential gold at the very bottom, and being really close by indeed, to somehow really overpowering his opponent even before the game kinda began. He does have a second life right now, Joe, quite significantly with what just happened in there with the map. Seemed like some kind of automatic depression to the graphics in here, but he does have the gold. But of course, what's gonna happen next? That's a pretty big question, because the map control is fully in Shadowfax's power, and you can just now see that where is the TC then? Where is gonna be the next TC? Is it here at the bottom? Like, it could still be right in the darkness there. So I'm not entirely certain what's actually going to happen here. And Elthalis, yeah, they do have, ISIS does have the discount on the advance into the next age. You can see 720 food, 450 gold right there, as ISIS is already coming forward into the Neftis. So it's gonna be about 8-minute advance, nothing really all that major. Let's see how he's gonna be able to deal with this. But otherwise, I'm still confused about where the last DC is. It has to be somewhere to the bottom then. Like, this is like the one of the last spots where it could be. Because it cannot be anywhere else. It just really cannot. So it could also be still a bug spawn, potentially. It sometimes does happen on the original maps that you are missing. A TC. And there are actually versions of Watering Hole, being of only 1 TC extra. but that would be really making any kind of sense, because right now you can see there is at least one player does have 2 TCs. So I'm kind of thinking this might be either bugged, or we're gonna be seeing quite a solid surprise with the TC at the bottom, or still literally in this corner of the map, which should be kind of surprising, but kind of still could happen. As right now Joe is coming forward with the Migdol right in the middle of the map, Bragi being researched at about 9 minutes as well, as he's gonna be attempting to drop a hill fort in the middle so that he can somehow protect the settlement. Because so far how the map is, and how the game is, this is actually really kind of interesting. And if it was really a bugged map, and there was only one extra third TC, it would be at the best position available in the very middle of the map, which is of course making for quite interesting tactical decisions for both players. So yeah, plenty of heresies already prepared, so unfortunately those ancestors are not gonna be exactly that useful as they could have been otherwise, but they still will be doing their job. They're gonna be denying the hill fort and maybe even giving the front TC right now to Joe, who's coming for siege works. Not interested in the second TC yet, but the ancestors might be even stopping the town center right now. Oh well. Now that might be a problem for Shadowfax right there, as even though he's leading on the score by about 200 points, which is not that much of a surprise, with a faster heroic on Isis, this is definitely something that he didn't expect and didn't want at all, and this denial of the TC for about 20 seconds more is definitely quite crucial, as this might actually allow quite a lot more raiding for Joe, as you can see that he is kinda spilling over into the base of the red player, but right now he will have to fall back. Yeah, Scorpion Man still looking around. Come on, go to the bit to the top side. I'm really curious if the TC is somewhere there. As Forest Fire is coming here, he maybe try to barbecue a few of those units here. Unfortunately for him, not gonna be succeeding with that. But yeah, well, Forest Fire doesn't do damage to your own buildings, as opposed to, for example, exactly the locals that we were talking about earlier today. And it's gonna be just opening the way for a bit more raiding. So no TC here. This is really funny. Really funny indeed. But anyway, this TC in the front, oh yeah, it is being empowered, but only 3 villages. This is gonna be definitely tricky, because the army for Joe is not entirely strong. So maybe the piggy could be discovering it a bit earlier. Oh, that was a tactical mistake by Joe. That was certainly a tactical mistake, especially if you're gonna be shooting at the horses. Right now noticing, but in the end it's gonna be working for him. I really think that he should have finished with empowerment the TC and then heading into battle. I think that was an unnecessary risk, and there it is. In the literally the littlest possible, the smallest possible space of darkness on the map is a TC hidden. So no, it's a fair spawn. The TC is there, but right now we could be actually falling. It's gonna be quite fun to see what's gonna happen. Quite fun to see, because I wouldn't be too surprised if actually this little army would be able to take the TC down. Oh well. Well. At the same time, they might not be having kind of problems, because Shadowfax doesn't have the army yet. And he probably doesn't have all that many upgrades. He doesn't have even copper shields, which you'll be needing if he wanted to assault the TC. And if he were on Titans, he would be definitely seeing a few more battle bars already, quite obviously. But at this point, we are on the vanilla, on hybrid, and that means no easy mythical units like that. And Joe is gonna be having probably quite a second breath here. And that's probably gonna be resulting then into flaming weapons being more or less wasted. I think like he didn't achieve all that much by it, unless he wanted to achieve basically a stop of the enemy attack, which, to be honest, wasn't really happening all that much there. As pretty solid trading going on for Joe right about now. And even though the map was all kinds of against him, Shadowfax is right now not having a good game at all. Right now, yeah, well, shouldn't have chosen Norse then. You chose the Norse willingly, so you kinda could have expected that. But anyway, it's of course gonna be quite a bit of a downside for him, especially considering the fact that Joe can be freely using his auto-queue if he wants to, and he quite probably also is. Oh well, right now he definitely is. You can see the confirmation right now there, because the picture wouldn't be present in the position, as the attack is right now quite strong from Joe. And since there is also a way into the middle of the enemy base, it might be really getting kinda tricky for Shadowfax to defend, as he is opting for Huskarls and for Jarls, which are kinda expensive, but also kinda strong. Also kinda strong indeed, even though he's not Odin. So, as a Thor coming for them, yeah, well, it's an option. It's definitely an option, and let's see if it's gonna be working for him in the end or not, because so far it doesn't seem all that much. He'll be definitely needing a bit more mythical units, I'm thinking. If he can produce a few more battle boars, it could be quite helpful. Let's say it like that. Let's say it like that, as the units are so far... finally the copper shields are there, and that's gonna be a game changer right here, because of course the chariots are just out of nowhere gonna be a whole lot less effective. You can see no upgrades for Joe, which is, to be honest, kind of expected. But we are gonna be also looking if maybe the Mythical Age is gonna be somewhere close, as the gold is finally right now being used at the back. But Joe should be also thinking about more upgrades. Pickaxe at 30 minutes is not exactly huge at this point. Should be definitely heading for a bit more, as even a portable ram is being made, as the opponent is at the basically whole line of upgrades on the baseline. But Joe is already getting the gold in the middle, and it seems like that he's actually playing this so far quite correctly, even after a very horrendous start, which is slightly surprising that actually Shadowfax wasn't able to capitalize on that slightly better, because it really looked very well for him. Really well indeed. So it seems like he's gonna be having to worry a bit about how the game is gonna be proceeding from here. Because of course with the full map control of the middle and getting the extra TC, and much more importantly getting the large gold mines in the middle, this is gonna be getting a whole lot simpler for the Egyptian player. And the front DC for right now Shadowfax is probably gonna be out of range. Because right now not only is it like behind the battle lines, it's also much more importantly gonna be needing units from a battlefield, and he cannot really spare them at all. As right now unfortunately Yaros weren't fighting against the Scorpion Man, and the Scorpion Man, that's one of the really strongest mythic units in the game, especially if used properly, and right now it's used properly against the horses. Yeah, it's definitely a big enemy of any kind of mounted unit with 50% melee armor and 25 attack, and the special poison attack as well. It's really quite strong indeed. And you can see that right now Shadowfax is getting quite hammered, as Joe is coming for the front TC on the top side as well, basically just to make sure that his opponent is not gonna be coming for it. And there we go. Shadowfax is gonna be resigning in here after very promising start for the red player. He just couldn't somehow hold up, and Joe, against pretty much all odds to be honest, it really looked like that he should be winning this, is overcoming his opponent on the hybrid mode and gonna be claiming the Titan title of the Age of Mythology / the Titan Summer Championship hosted by Evil Destroyer for 200 euros, and taking the main prize, which is about 100, I think, something like that. Something like that. Yeah, that was really... The start was well played by Shadowfax. He got a bit cocky in there, it seemed like, around the elephants, and it didn't pay off. Yeah, it doesn't pay off getting cocky. It really doesn't. Well done though. Quite nice finals overall. Quite nice tournament as well. Thank you very much, Destroyer, for hosting. Definitely appreciate what you do for the community. And well, congratulations of course to Joe for victory, and to Shadowfax as well for coming so close to claiming the title himself. And it seemed like that in the end, well, the Titans expert is gonna be prevailing above the Vanilla expert, but it was neck to neck. Neck to neck. Yeah, basically Titan expert winning all 3 Titans games, Vanilla expert winning all 3 Vanilla games, and in the end, the hybrid, well, hybrid, as hybridic as it can potentially be, has decided that it's gonna be slightly better for the Titans player. So yeah, it's gonna be of course quite a lot of communication going on, so have fun reading all of that. And we're gonna be in the meantime switching right now into the post game to have a look if there's gonna be something fun for us to discover. 690, 960, the same numbers. Congrats, Joe. It was really close. So those ancestors definitely weren't great. Definitely weren't that great in there. The score quite close as well. Joe basically, where he got on the horse was when he was able to claim the middle TC. And then the flamey weapons, they were kind of fizzling. They didn't really do anything that much for Shadowfax. He probably should have waited a bit more. For more army. And when he would be able to get onto the TC with the full attack. That's not really because of Wobbly, I guess. They've just prepared better, I imagine. Not sure. Not sure. Yeah, well, when you switch into Norse willingly, and at the start you were going for basically changing the hotkeys. Yeah, it's kind of, he probably just forgot about it. It's unfortunate. But to be honest, he should have realized quite early in the game. Maybe he could have even vetoed because of that, or save, or something like that. So let's finish with the post game here. Civilian units pretty much the same, the stronger economy by far. Quite understandably for Shadowfax by a lot of resources. The Indians just didn't really do a whole lot, because Joe was having the units at the correct timings and at the correct battles. 808, not really that major advance, but considering what all happened to him, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. When he was forced of the elephants, lost the villages. Yeah. Even nice upgrades for Shadowfax. Maybe he should have invested a bit more into the army in there. Yeah, well, he tried to be a bit more aggressive with the hill fort in the middle of the map, but unfortunately he was just already too late, and unfortunately wasn't able to establish himself there. So he should have probably recognized the situation slightly better and went a bit more defensive with the hill forts, and he would be in the end able to take the TC, I'm pretty sure. Units, quite similar military units. Yeah, well, that was the big downfall. You can see basically no losses for Joe at all. No losses for him at all. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, of course, it affects you, but at the same time, we are the masters of our fate. You switched into Norse willingly. You could have continued playing the Poseidon. Yeah, and that hidden TC, that was kind of fun as well, exactly, Elta list. It was really kind of unexpected. Really unfair. Yeah, when we're talking about unfair, it's definitely correct to remember the Ghost Lake map from Saturday. that wasn't even funny. Like, yeah, it was definitely funny for us watching everybody, but not for Joe. That was really horrible map. It was completely sad map all around. If you didn't see that on Saturday, definitely do. It's on the past broadcast here. That was one of the saddest map that you can get as an Egyptian on Ghost Lake. He wasn't scouting properly, that has to be said. Could have scouted slightly better, but overall it really was bad. It really was bad. Yeah, they basically right now exchanging excuses here. I'm just waiting for them to exchange all that they want to say, because it's usually funny between the players. What they talk about, and something nice to keep in check. Like one more. So do you like want to do, or rather claim that this wasn't the last game that you want re? Or what are you trying to say here, Shadowfax, exactly?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay then. Yeah, I don't think so that we're gonna be seeing another game here. And it's gonna be a win claimed by Joe. Shadowfax is gonna be having a whole lot of say about it. I'm expecting 1,000 more food. Yeah, well, he did have quite plenty more economy. But it just doesn't matter if you don't use it properly. We have seen it, for example, yesterday in some of the matches that I streamed. You can be having like 20,000 more resources, and if you don't use it properly, it's just absolutely no good. It's just absolutely no good. Yeah, the amount of resources is not really exactly what's gonna be winning you the game all the time and every time. Okay, so I think that's gonna be it, that they have said all that they needed to and wanted to say. So I'm just gonna be right now saying a GG to this whole game and to the tournament. Maybe there's still gonna be a bronze match, but to be honest, right now it doesn't seem too likely. Maybe it's gonna be there a bit later. But yeah, this is it. Yet again, thanks Destroyer for hosting the tournament. The finals are done. Joe is the champion, Shadowfax is second player, and then the third one, we're gonna see what's gonna happen to that. So GG here.